African, the whole thing today revolves around agricultural technology and how we build agriculture through innovation. A time has come when we must accept the reality of life. And the realities of life are that the world right now is really grappling with the serious effects of climate change. You know how climate change affects agriculture. The only way to deal with a growing population, the only way to deal with land mass or with the one land size that is permanently not, which is not expanding, whose soils are getting sick every day, and with very many mouths that we must feed day in, day out, is to realize that for us to be able to feed our people, for the world to be food sufficient, we must adopt and we must be ready to invest in technology. The space in technology, in all spheres or aspects of life, is the way to go. We must, and I think it has been said, see how we can reduce post-harvest losses by adopting technology to manage our post-harvest losses. We must adopt technology so that we can increase our yields. We must be able to accept and use science to be able to develop drought-resistant crops to deal the effects of climate change. So this area is not something we can run away from, and I'm so happy that ACAT2023 has really been able to bring us here very great minds from all over Africa and other parts of the world to really participate in this very important forum. So I'm happy, I'm lucky to be the host of this very important conference here in Kenya. And I hope you people are really enjoying the good weather of Nairobi. I'm so happy that you people are a blessing to us. You've brought blessings. Rain has come with you. And because for quite some time, and what we are trying to work on as a government and as a people here, is how to run away from relying on rain-fed agriculture and see what we can do to harvest this water that when it's raining right now, so that we can be able to store it, so that we can be able to use it during those times when we have raw rain, and use it to grow food for our people, because food and nutritional security is our key mandate as a Ministry of Agriculture, and which the government and my colleague P.S. Rono and Mweke and others are really working towards achieving. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great opportunity for us to discuss, engage, share knowledge on how we can be able to deal with this great problem that we face as humanity, that we have to use technology and innovation to deal with those problems that we face. So before
It's not by mega farmers, because the mega farmers have a chain of production, know where they're taking their goods to. So we cannot do away with the small-scale farm, we cannot do away with the mega. Because we need the mega farms to produce things that we can export, things that would support our industries, and also using the economy of scale. They will produce it cheaper, and that will bring down the cost of food in the market. So both sides, we must. And executive director, so don't do away with small-scale farmers. Otherwise, so many Africans will not have jobs. So let me conclude by saying that, because I was a teacher before, if a teacher enters the classroom, you enter the classroom with entry behavior. And if you have the conversation with the children, pupils, or students, then as you are leaving the classroom, you expect a change in behavior from the students or people. And in teaching, if there's no change in behavior, then no learning has taken place. So for this conference, the African Conference on Agricultural Technology, for us, by the time we're leaving Nairobi, there are certain things we expect. Just like there should be change in behavior in the classroom. We expect new ideas, because that's all about innovations. We expect that during the interactive, the practical farmers, those who are in the research sector, the investors, everything, we expect some new ideas to come up. We also expect real innovations. And innovations should start from maybe cut across. But let us say from land preparation to the food entering my mouth. So we expect mechanization, biotechnology areas. And also, the catering must also be very, very creative, be very, very innovative, to begin to combine different food items, bringing the carbohydrates and the protein and the fats and so on into different forms of food. Because the food industry is big, and we must be creative enough to come up with different products that people will enjoy. Then the key thing is partnership. We emphasize on that even during the discussions yesterday, and I know it will go on and on. Without partnership, even AATF would not be here today. AATF is partnering with a number of organizations and individuals. So we must maximize that during this conversation. And of course, collaboration. We must collaborate if we must succeed in providing food for our teeming population. There's this Kishwali saying that said that one finger cannot kill a louse on the head. And that is also in the Kenyan spirit of Harambee. We must collaborate. We must work together to move forward. On that note, once again, I thank all the participants who came from different parts of Africa and outside Africa. And also thank the government and the people of Kenya for hosting us very successfully. Thank you all.
I appreciate this engagement, and I want to assure you from my State Department that as we move towards addressing challenges in each and every crop, we'll work together to make sure that we facilitate and we leverage on technology to enhance our production, at the same time ensure that we engage our farmers to support us in this space. I would like, Your Excellencies and the CS, who is our chief case, that this event, with your support, we hype it in future, so that as we engage the exhibitors, we listen to the farmers. Whenever I go to open a workshop, I normally ask, where is the farmer? Because the farmer normally speaks in few words and very frank. Sometimes the English or the language may not be right, but it means that way, and it is that way, and that is the real issues on the ground. So engaging the farmer, because that is our reserve energy, is very important. So that as we move in this space, we develop the documents and the policy direction on matters, technology in agriculture, innovation. We make sure that the key stakeholder, who is the farmer, is brought at the center of the discussion so that we don't make mistakes in coming up with a policy direction where the farmer is not fully represented. That is very important because that farmer has been left for long behind, and sometimes they are not very happy when they are left behind, like any other stakeholder. So it is high time we appreciate this workforce and this talent of the farmer as we move forward in this engagement. So ladies and gentlemen, with those,
the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development of the Republic of Kenya, his representatives, the Director Generals, Executive Secretaries and partners in the room, members of the board, board chair, members of the board, members of the development partners consortium and all those who support our activities in AATF, members of academia and the scientific community at large, farmers and representatives of farmers associations, distinguished guests, members of the media, all protocols observed, good morning and welcome. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this inaugural edition of the African Conference on Agricultural Technologies in this beautiful city of Nairobi. And we are really privileged to have amidst us, among other dignitaries, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, feel most welcome and thank you very much for your presence here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this ACAT is rightly themed, Agricultural Resilience through Innovation. We believe that the resilience of our farmers and food systems depend a lot on how well innovative technologies have been embraced and integrated into food production systems for the benefit of farmers and the whole populace. We can say with some certainty that the last mile delivery pipelines for agricultural technologies to our farmers have not done them justice to actualizing the Africa 2063 agenda and the UN SDGs. While science, technology, and innovation potentials are rapidly evolving, it has not been matched by the required policy support to enable the effective deployment of tried and tested products. This includes the creation of enabling environments for R&D, which even when it happens is rather too slow. ACAT is therefore an additional call to action to stakeholders in the agricultural sector to raise the profile of science, innovation, and technology for agricultural transformation and move from talk to action on several key fronts. The African continent is still struggling to feed its people. As the World Food Programme and FAO hunger status projection for June to December 2023 report, acute food insecurity is likely to deteriorate further in 18 hunger hotspots globally, comprising a total of 22 countries in Africa, among them Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Kenya. Reliance on a rain-fed agriculture and conventional means still form the largest part of Africa's farming community. However, we all know that this can no longer be sustainable as climate change effects, unreliable rainfall, and dwindling soil quality make this kind of farming poor and unpredictable. Africa's growing youth population, the youth bulge, projected to be a resource for revitalizing the African economy, has not been fully harnessed. Unfortunately, the younger generation are still shy of soiling their hands in agriculture. And unfortunately, again, the continent has become a leading importer of food at the detriment of the provision of quality health care and education, despite having the largest arable lands globally. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to date, the AATF's firm belief in the efficacy of science, technology, and innovation in the agricultural value chain remains unchanged. Our work in more than 24 countries, in close partnership with governments, national research organizations, and partners to improve agricultural outcome through technology deployment, has yielded rich lessons that are worth sharing. It is a well-known fact that production increases that are driven solely by increased land cultivation are no longer sustainable, as resources increasingly become limited and unavailable. The sustainability of farming systems for long-term benefits for food and nutrition security will require a shift to intensifying farming based on modern innovation technologies that aptly address the most pressing farmers' challenges. It is pertinent and obvious that farmers need to grow more food on less land, fight pests and diseases, navigate climate change, and maximize profit margins from their produce. Innovative technologies offer creative solutions to the changes we desire for our food systems. But a big question lingers. Why do investments in agricultural research and development and in the delivery of innovation remain unattractive in most of our countries? Why? Is it the nature, the type of technologies that we are proposing, or lack of appropriateness of the output that fails to attract political support? I would like to leave these questions with the distinguished delegate of this auspicious event. I hope that by the closing time on Friday, we will have some element of answers for these major questions. We must revolutionize agricultural research and development to drive improved agricultural total factor productivity for transformative outcomes in the coming years. Permit me, as I conclude, to acknowledge the support of the government of Kenya under the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Cabinet Secretary and Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, various international partners and donor agencies, including BMGF, Feed the Future, RTI International, USAID, 1CGR, national agricultural organizations, and numerous others for their support in bringing this conference to reality. Finally, I urge you all to take advantage of this week-long conference to become active players in the ongoing effort to make Africa a net producer of food, thereby securing the future of our continent. Thank you. God bless you all, and thank you very much for your attention.
What is their objective? Their objective is to make profit. Their objective is to make money. That's the number one thing. When we talk to them, that's what it's all about. They don't want to hear about, I've got a beautiful technology and it helps the farmers, oh, it's so wonderful. No, it's all about profit. So as researchers and developers of technologies and innovation, the language we use to convince the private sector to invest, build the factory that's going to make the product, to invest and do the marketing. It's all about proving to them that it can be, that it will be profitable. And sometimes that is more than just calculations on your computer. Sometimes it means that we, as developers of technologies, need to actually incubate and demonstrate the profitability. I think the other thing that I want to point out is private sector is both an institution that has money to invest, but they're also an institution that needs money to invest. They can operate on both sides. And so this is where we as people working in agriculture can encourage, again, banks like African Development Bank to partner with private institutions to give them loans at a more, let's call it, a more reasonable rate so that they can invest and make profit, but also benefit food security and farmers in Africa. Thank you.
Question, and I will specifically be able to give what we are doing as the government of Kenya, because we want really to run away from this dependence on imports and to ensure that our country is food and nutritional secure. We have an elaborate plan, and that is why you find under the bottom-up transformational agenda, the agriculture is a key pillar towards achieving this end. And the government of President William Ruto is so committed in ensuring that there is finance to agriculture, there is finance to our farmers. And to ensure that we are able to achieve this, I think you realize for the last 1 year, we've been able, government has been so clear in its mind to support the production against consumption. Our voucher system on fertilizer is a success story, because we are telling people, please get back to your farms. It's the only way to make this country have enough food for ourselves, and we can only do it if we deliberately ensure that we all go back to our farms. And the only government is now doing is to ensure that there is that subsidy in the agricultural sector, not only on fertilizer. We are moving to the other step of ensuring that there is also financing on other inputs. So thereafter then, and just as His Excellency has said, and the question has been raised on financing, this government has deliberately decided to increase funding in agriculture and to achieve the Malabon Declaration on financing of agriculture to around 10% of each country's budget. You realize through AFC, government has committed to put in 10 billion shillings. this 10 billion shillings is to ensure that the Agricultural Finance Corporation is liquid enough for farmers, whether you are growing maize, whether you are growing coffee, or whether you are keeping livestock, for easy access of credit. And our idea is to push the interest rate on these loans to farmers to below 1 ringgit to ensure there is enough money to support our farmers. Secondly, some of the programs that we are running as a ministry in collaboration with development partners, like for example, the Drive project, is a project whereby we have around 40 million US dollars. The idea is to bring farmers together, and especially in the Asao areas, to be able to come up with the field lots, be able to finance young men and women to grow fonder, to feed our animals. And the whole idea is to ensure that there is sustained finance to our farmers, so that at least they are able to produce enough for our own consumption, enough for our own for export. And again, so that there is that, for any business, we always say that any business to be is as good as the revenue that you create out of it. So the business of value addition and agro-processing in this Kenya Kwanza plans agenda is to ensure that our farmers get the best out of what they do, and I think that is one of the ways to ensure that we maintain our farmers in their pieces of land. And for your information, out of this fertilizer subsidy program, out of the land commercialization program that we are running, already we have been able to put in 200,000 hectares into food production for last season and now. And when you look at our prospects in terms of how much we are producing on maize, our expected harvest on maize, we are going to eat 61 million bags. And by the year 2025, this country will not be dependent on any imports, especially on the maize and others. And remember, this is so undeliberate. It is being done consistently because there is nothing else that we can do other than try to bring the cost of living down. And bringing the cost of living down is trying to address the country's food and nutritional requirements by making sure that we deliberately produce what is enough for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, last.
Thank you so much. The issue of finance is always critical. Luckily, as we are passing through the stands too, they have demonstrated to us how various organizations are helping smallholder farmers. That's where we need what technically is the collaboration between groups, like the people who demonstrated the issue of these tractors. It's difficult for a farmer to go and own a tractor, but then they have created a forum where a cluster of farmers in a particular community, one tractor can move there at the same time, they pay very little, and it does the work. And those who have been able to make money, you can pay as small as 5%, and you pay weekly after that. So yes, getting bulk sum for farming is difficult. Even commercial, because of the risk involved, banks hardly lend money to farmers. Because of the risk involved, we don't insure our farms, so they pull away. But of course, government through reserve banks in the country, or what we call central bank in Nigeria, also assists our farmers in various ways. In my country, in fact, the rate of payback is so low that even the CBN is now pulling back from giving farmers loans. So you are right, that is a problem. But some private sectors have come in to see how they can help farmers. So here in Kenya, they are doing very well from the little they've briefed us. So I believe that farmers, smallholder farmers, will be able to access little funds to upscale their production.
Ladies and gentlemen.